So far, we've been seeing that a lot of people here in Japan is mostly the population has a 100% oki.
That's what we're saying all the time.
It's real. Basically, everyone here is a bottom. You're gay and you come to Japan, you will become a bottom.
Even the tops that we want to work with are asking to bottom for us.
Hi, Tokyo Tops.
Aloha, everybody. This is Kemono Dragon, all the way from Hawaii.
And I'm Damian Dragon, I'm from New York City.
And we're about to have an
We are back. It's actually our first time meeting you guys in person. If you guys can give us more of an introduction of what do you do?
I do porn. I actually did my first porn scene with Ryuji 4 years ago. I've always wanted to do porn, and I've always submitted all my things to all porn production. Falcon, Raging Stallion, you know, the list goes on. But of course, just sorry, you're not what we're looking for. And I also think a lot has to do because I live in Hawaii. So they're not going to fly me over to California. They're not going to fly you over.
Well, I thought they fly people from all
See, that's what I thought.
They do, but if you look at a lot of mainstream porn that's coming out of the major porn companies, all those guys live around Las Vegas, California, and stuff like that, and they're driving back and forth, or they're flying for $99.
I'm happy for OnlyFans. There's some people that are like, oh, another person with OnlyFans. I love that OnlyFans, Just for Fans, other platforms, gives the person the chance, the opportunity to be able to be a sex worker, to be able to be an adult entertainer without getting all the red tape of you're not musclier enough, you're too fat, or you're too tall, or you're too short, or you're too this or that, and they want this perfect image. I finally get to have a chance to put what I love doing this out there. And I think I'm the only Polynesian islander that is in porn. And it's really important for me to represent AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander. And actually just this morning, Damian showed me a post on Twitter. We were voted the most sexiest couple.
We're March lovers.
March sexiest couple.
Yeah.
And so I looked at the list and there's like 30 people on that list. We're the only AAPI on that list. That's a normal thing I encounter where it's like, oh, well, here's another porn with a bunch of black guys, or here's another porn with a bunch of white guys. I would love to gangbang a white guy and have a bunch of Asians or Polynesians gangbang him. I'm very wild. I'm very wild though. And that's why they call me Kemono.
Oh, I was gonna ask you.
Kemono, wild, stop, I give up.
I get an image. That reminds me of another interview we have done, like June Lovejoy. Her nickname was Seiyoku no Bakemono. Very similar. I can see the energy, like, you know.
Yeah. I started porn in 2009. At that point in time, I knew of Ken Mifune, who was another Asian male, Japanese, in porn. And then Corey Coons, who started just before me as well. And we were the only 3 Asian men in gay porn at that point in time. It didn't dawn on me at that point in time, but further down the way, it sort of came into my mind that I'm really trying to push what the Asian male is represented as within their sexuality and their roles, and try to break those stereotypes where Asian men get categorized into effeminate, submissive, bottom, all of those sort of things. And that's similar to what Ken was doing a few years before me and what Corey was also doing at that same point in time. And now it's really encouraging to see so many other Asian men within porn, and you see them breaking in more and more to mainstream porn, which is really important, I think, as well. But when I started in 2009, I was hanging out with this other porn star who was Raging Stallion exclusive. His name was Ricky Sims, and I got pulled up at this Raging Stallion party and announced as one of their new models, and that's where my name was also given to me. So it was just sort of like discussed beforehand, but we had never made any final decisions, and there was just the little nudge that pushed me into this path of my life.
Are you guys both doing full-time as porn stars at the moment? Or
Yes. Pre-COVID, All my porn went into my savings and I lived off of my massage and my escort work. Now it's a little bit blurred. It's kind of swinging back into where it was before, but this is primarily what I do.
So I'm actually a full-time student and I'm going for psychology. Eventually I want to be social worker within the criminal justice system, specifically work with people LGBTQ, so that way whenever they have issues, I could say, hey, it's okay, you know what? I know that road, you could talk to me, you're trans and you're safe with me. That's what I want to do. At the moment, I am a full-time sex worker, escorting, massage, and porn, and I absolutely love it. It's like my calling.
How good are you guys at massage though? Because I had one last night. This guy's like, come over. He was like, massage. No, not a porn star, just like a guy. I found him on Sniffies. So anyways, I was kind of like, free massage. Like,
It's a free massage?
Yeah. I mean, you know that he's gonna want to give you a handy at the end.
Wait, why is he serving you so much?
Because some
free
people
stuff?
like serving. So I like go over, and it was like one of the worst massages.
The worst massage?
He was like, I have years of experience, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. Yeah. And then it was just very much like, oh my god.
People have told me, oh, you really know what you're doing. But they also want the extras that I also offer.
Okay.
So.
Do they always want the extra?
No, I have clients who are just massage clients, and then clients that want all the extras and things like that. I've had a massage from him too, so he's really good as well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because I did CrossFit for 7 years, and now I do bodybuilding competitions. So coming from that world, I get to translate it into massages, so I know what parts to target. And then also in Hawaii, we have a style of massage which is called lomi lomi, which is more for promoting circulation, blood circulation, versus deep tissue target areas.
And also you guys are, gay couple, right? So I want to ask more about like how you guys navigate through this porn career, and also like how do you guys know each other? And also you live in New York, you live in Hawaii. I don't know how it works, what's the dynamic?
We travel a lot. Chat on the phone a lot when we're not in the same cities. This is the first time that I've actually been filming the videos that Maka is in. It's not uncomfortable, it's just people having sex, and it's my partner having sex with somebody else in front of me. But going into it, I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel.
Pre-COVID, of course, I want to say 2017. Well, I was always jacking off to his porn. And so I would talk with him on Instagram. And first I had to be very cool, very casual, because I'm like, man, he's famous, I gotta be cool. I'm just like, whatever. I would always check my phone to see if he responded. So every time he would respond, I'd be like, play cool. The Japan happened, Ryuji porn, my porn just went crazy. Videos got like 1 million views and stuff. And then finally I was like, oh, we should collab, I'm coming to LA. He's like, oh, okay, cool. And then finally, like 2 months later, when I was finally gonna fly, I landed and I said, hey, I'm in Los Angeles, let's collab. He goes, oh, I moved to New York.
So you're playing really hard to get.
I was playing it a little cool. However, at that point in time when we were speaking, I was only topping. After I moved to New York, there were 2 of us that were tops that were playing around. The other guy flipped me and I discovered my prostate and how sensitive it was. And then he's converted me into his full-time bottom.
And then I was going to Europe and I said, hey, I should stop by New York to make my Hawaii to Europe trip not as long. He said, oh yeah, sure, come over.
This time I invited him to stay.
He got pregnant.
Several times.
And ever since then, we've just been working and together.
But you guys never thought of like moving into the same city?
No,
or...
hell no. I don't want to go to New York. Have you guys ever been to New York?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I also don't like New York.
No, coming from Hawaii, I'm very earth, nature, island, and when I would go to New York, I'm like, oh my god, this place is crazy.
Filthy.
And New Yorkers are not kind.
It's a difficult city if you're used to a different way of life, definitely. I've always lived in a big metropolitan city, so I'm used to that pace. I'm used to the level that people hold themselves to in the cities can brush it off very easily.
Do you go to Hawaii to visit him?
I've been twice, and he's been to New York 3 times. And then we've met in San Francisco quite often. It's like the sort of interim
San
point.
Francisco's our middle.
So this time that you guys are in Japan, so I want to link back to Japan. Like, what are you guys doing here? Like, do you guys have a lot of like upcoming projects? Where
I think the last time I counted the number of scenes I was doing here, I have 15 scenes in 3 weeks.
God.
Yeah.
We had to, originally it was 2 weeks, but because we had so many collabs and inquiries, we extended to 3. We did a Demon Slayer porn project.
The anime? Like,
Yes.
Are you a big anime fan? Or
No, I'm only a fan if that one series is good. That's basically all we're watching right now. Not really. I mean, I like.
But we have been up to Cosmate in Toshima City, so we could like look at all the cosplay outfits.
Yeah.
So inexpensive compared to the US, and so much choice and variety and amazing quality.
Beautiful. So basically, we are demons. He plays Akaza demon. I forget the name of mine, but he's the drum guy. He has drums, and
I only watched like the first couple episodes.
It's so good.
and we give him our demon seed, where he will now produce demons, endlessly getting pregnant from us.
Also, it just reminds me back in the day, so like when I was young, I think what was popular among the high schoolers, and it was very straight, Warcraft was really popular at the time, so it was like world of course, Horcraft. And they would like dress up, and like my friends, like my really nerdy friends, we'd be watching it, and they'd be like, oh, that's that character, and they'd have to explain it to me, and just it gave me very Horcraft vibes.
we heard lots of like familiar names, right?
Yes,
Like
all of our friends.
yeah, you should know them from us. I want. How did you contact them?
Like Zen, we thought maybe you saw our video with him, or did you see his videos?
I did see your video with him, but you got in contact with him.
I've seen some of the videos with some of the performers that you've done, but people like Zen and people like Rio, I had seen them work with Peter Fever, and and Peter Fever also runs Japan Boy's site. They run my website. They run Axel's. They run Yoshi's. So it kind of just fed into all of us meeting eventually.
Can I make a comment here? Yes. I feel Peter Fever is really tame.
It is. They're geared towards twinks mainly. You know, I pop in and out. Their scenes with like daddies sometimes do really well. Sometimes they don't perform as well as they want to. So they don't do it too often.
I want to get back to the Japanese boys, but before I forget, because I just remember, because I was stalking your profile a little bit, and I saw that you guys were connected with Cage Jock.
Oh, he's my buddy.
Oh my god, he's your buddy? Oh,
Yeah.
Hot.
Oh, okay.
So
Cage Jock.
hot.
Because you guys are not Japanese, like, do you speak Japanese? Like, how do you feel like when you need to contact them, or even on set, like, how do you communicate with them? Because sometimes they're not the best English speakers, I would say.
I don't speak Japanese. I know like very rudimentary hellos, goodbyes, thank yous, that kind of thing. I did message everybody in English that I wanted to work with. Some of them used translator. We probably didn't get responses from some people because I sent them messages in English, and they probably just saw them and had no idea what it was all about and just scrolled on by them.
I send videos to them saying, you, me.
Well, but you still have to discuss about like the fee, the timing, like the arrangement. Like,
Yes.
do you feel like it's more of a hurdle if you don't speak the language, and how do you guys overcome that this time?
Well, 僕は25%、25%ハワイ人と25%日本人と50%メキシカン人。おばちゃん8% 日本人。And in Hawaii, everything's very Japanese. Well, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yes.
So,
that makes a lot of
but
sense,
because
though,
you have the Japanese heritage and you speak some Japanese, it's not too difficult for
It's
you
not
to-
too difficult.
yeah.
There are times that I don't know some things. Like I could definitely always say like, oh, let's meet, you know. But there are some things that I need to like translate.
What are some words that you've learned since you've been here? I'm curious about normal words and curious about a little bit more risque. Like, Did anyone teach you any fun words?
Well, I always knew this word, yaruze.
Yeah,
Yaruze.
Oh, that's very tough in
So, not about the language, but what do you feel like is the difference between like maybe filming a porn in America versus in Japan?
When I film in the US, it's usually you show up, you film, you depart. But here, with everybody that we've worked with, it's they come, they hang out, we talk, we film, we go
They
out
use
for
our
something
shower.
to eat and stuff like that. So it's like a full several hours of spending time with them and getting to know them afterwards and things.
And
like
I
that.
like that.
You guys actually think you can get more personal here in Japan
Definitely.
compared to the US?
Yes. In America, they come, they're ready. They're already douched. Here, they come and they douche here, which I don't give a damn.
On the spot.
Yeah.
And then the sex, I don't know if this is their porn acting identity that they're doing or if this is really, really real. Sometimes I'm like barely touching the nipple and they're like, and I'm like, is this real? Like,
It's so funny
real,
though.
like,
Probably not.
It's probably
No,
half,
it's so funny though.
yeah.
It's like so many Japanese guys are like that.
No, okay. Let me say this. Like in general, Japanese like to do over the top
Yes.
like acting. Even for their like regular TV and movies,
Yeah.
they just go a little bit like like they have to fake it to like a little bit. I think that's how they reflect into their porn industry as well.
I think so. And you can even,
Yes.
you can find it also in straight porn as well. That's why there's all the memes of the girls going, yeah.
Well, what do you think is the hottest part of Japanese gay men?
You don't like the nipple reaction. We covered that.
You know who really attracts me? I once saw a movie, it's a coming of age about the indigenous Japanese people north of Hokkaido. That look.
I know.
I want to say they have a bit more body hair.
Yes,
Oh.
they are hairier.
So you actually prefer body hair?
It's so hard to answer that because I really hate the question, what is your type? Because that is so complex. It's so
It's
complex.
complicated, yeah. But I want to get like superficial with that. I love Japanese hair, like Japanese people's hair, because I would say among like the East Asians, like Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Japanese people actually have more hairs compared to like Chinese
Yeah.
and Koreans.
Yeah, real-
and they
real
have
hairy.
like really thick like
very
hairs on the legs.
Yes.
Like
that's
I
hot.
think that's
That's so
super
hot.
sexy.
Yeah.
In Japan, like getting rid of those hair is like
hate
super
that.
popular. Like,
I
these
don't
days.
like that, no. Like if you're trying to force yourself to fit in a mold that society tells you you need to look like that, no. You need to love yourself and you need to be able to look in the mirror and say, no, I look good and I don't need to fit in a mold. That's what's hot to me. Stop fucking doing that laser hair removal and just keep it on.
I've done it on my butt because I really just like a smooth.
You want to fit
I want a
into the
smooth hole.
bottom.
I want a smooth hole. So I'm gonna
bottom,
stand
yeah.
up for the people
So the
who
dick
are.
can just slide
Yeah,
right in.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Maka had me wax his butt and his hole and his taint before he came
See?
to Japan.
See?
So don't buy into
exactly,
his like stay
That's
natural.
all lies, no.
We're
Yes,
all under
I
the
was
same
gonna say that.
pressures.
Yes, I like big ears.
Oh, I love big hair.
I love big
I
ears.
love big ears. I
Big
love
ears.
big ears. A lot of guys here do have just this beautiful shape, and I love them so much.
That's so hot.
So hot.
I wouldn't go into all the superficial things that Maka has maybe gone into. I really love how expressive the men are here in terms of just like touch and kiss and feel and how they really sort of like outwardly show that they're enjoying things.
I always feel like Japanese people are not able to share, and
Maybe it's just the people we work with.
yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe because of the porn people. You know?
Yeah, I feel like culturally in Japan, people seem to be a little bit more
Reserved,
like,
yeah,
reserved,
for sure.
right? But I feel like people that do porn, they like awakened. And
They probably
realized-
break like some chains already.
Yes,
for them
so,
to do.
yeah, some social change,
Yeah.
some social constructions that they broke into because they are not that stereotypical of being a little bit more reserved. They're more quieter. They're more outgoing and more outwardly, and that I have enjoyed.
I've also really enjoyed when I'm at the bathhouse and people come up and they're just like, "Are you Damian Dragon?"
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, yeah.
Now you'll know that. That's how you know.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And where can they find your content?
Yes.
You know, what's the best way to follow you guys?
I'm at damianxdragon.com.
Kemono_X3 for Twitter, and for Instagram, Kemono32X. We have link trees, and you can find all of our hot fucking on there. If you are looking for 50 loads, we do mail loads. So if you'd like some, let us know.
Wow. You might order it.
Oh, we got it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
everybody.
inviting us.
Take care.
Bye.
See you guys.